Hello everyone, welcome to the last lecture of this last week for our course Metrics and Analytics of Marketing. So throughout this course we have looked into various kind of metrics that is associated mainly with the domain of marketing. We have looked into various web analytics, we have looked into various important metrics such as customers lifetime value, then customer acquisition cost and important metrics such as the relationship between price and demand. In today's session, this is important in the sense that we will try to cover up the broad domain of marketing in terms of the marketing mix models and communication metrics. All of us know that sales is an important part of marketing. Everything we do in marketing, the ultimate goal remains the sales and profit that can be derived by the organization. So if we look at sales as a dependent variable, then there will be multiple independent variables, and these independent set of variables can be purviewed under the marketing mix models, which includes the product, price, place and promotion. So in today's sessions, we will try to look into the interplay between these various components of marketing strategy or marketing mix. How price is influencing the demand, how product quality can influence the demand, how your distribution intensity can influence your demand, and how the expenditure in terms of promotion or advertisement can influence the overall demand that is in the market for a particular brand. So let's dive more into this concept. First, let us try to understand what is called a marketing mix models. If I go by component wise, marketing mix model consists of 4 P's of marketing, that is product, price, place and promotion. Marketing mix models are used to monitor and estimate relationship between the marketing decisions and marketing objectives. So marketing decisions can be what should be the price, what should be the intensity level, what should be the product quality, what should be the promotion intensity, expenditure in terms of marketing activities. These are the marketing decisions. So what can be your objectives? The marketing objectives can be the awareness level, the accessibility level, ultimate sales. So it can be at different hierarchy or different level of the conversion metrics, right? So these marketing mix models, they help the managers understand how controllable actions affect the performance, means how the price can influence the profitability of the organization. As we know that price is the primary determinant of quantity demanded for normal products. The relationship goes like, if the price of a product is increased, then quantity demanded for that product is expected to decrease. So that is why you have to come up with an optimum price. So how can you calculate the optimum price? You need to understand the concept of elasticity of price, right? So you have to determine the price at that particular point where it optimizes the function of profitability, right? So another aspect that we can look into the marketing mix model is that they support the resource allocation decisions. How much needs to be allocated in marketing budget, how much needs to be allocated for accessibility level, means intensifying the distribution level of the product, or how much needed to be allocated for upgradation of the product, how much needed to be allocated for technological advancement of the product. So basically the interplay of these 4 P's of marketing directly impact the quantity demanded or your position in the industry. That is why as a marketing manager, you should know what is the optimum combination in terms of product, price, place and promotion. So for that you must have a detailed understanding about these 4 components as well as the external marketing environment, the competitive landscape, how the macroeconomic environment, macroeconomic variables are acting on the market. Now let us look into why the marketing mix models matter. Marketing managers regularly make the decisions on price, they make decisions regarding the promotion expenditure, they make decisions regarding what kind of promotional activity needs to be carried out, they take decisions regarding the sales force, regarding the effort of the sales force, and they also make decisions regarding the distribution, the intensity of distribution, how we can make the product conveniently available for our maximum number of target customers. These kind of decisions do not affect the final sales directly in many cases. For example, if I talk about advertisement, advertisement may not result in a sale immediately. So, what it will do, at least what it is expected to do, is it will create more awareness about your brand, and over a period of time this awareness things will get converted into interest, this interest things will get converted into evaluation of alternatives, and the evaluation of alternatives will get converted into actual purchase of your brand. So, that is why rather than understanding the outcome matrix, rather than only understanding the outcome matrix, you also need to have a understanding about the sequence of events and the intermediate marketing matrix that is resulting in the outcome matrix. So, before understanding the conversion as a matrix, you need to understand the interest as a metric, you need to understand the awareness as a matrix, right. So, their effects often pass through intermediate marketing objectives. Awareness. So, for a particular advertisement initiative, the objective may not be the sale, it can be for creating more brand awareness, right. So, these brand awareness at particular point of time will result in more sales. So, in that perspective, from that perspective, awareness becomes your intermediate marketing metric, right. So, the understanding of these intermediate metrics and chain of sequence of events are important. Let us look at the decisions and objectives. Marketing decisions should be linked to the measurable objectives. If I run an advertisement, I should clearly know what is the purpose behind this advertisement. Is it for the purpose of creating more awareness, or is it for the purpose of converting the interest into actual purchase, right. And accordingly, we will evaluate the effectiveness of that particular marketing initiative. These objectives act as the bridge between the action and the final performance. The way awareness can act as a bridge between the advertisement and the actual sales. This makes the analysis more useful for planning and control, because if you understand the outcome matrix, if you understand the input matrix, if you understand the intermediate matrix, and if you understand the flow between this among this matrix, then in that case you have a holistic understanding of the entire phenomenon, and probably you are in a better position to make a informed decisions if some corrective actions needs to be taken up. Now let us look at the intervening matrix. Marketing actions often influence the intermediate variable first. This may include awareness, this may include availability, this may include trial, repeat purchase, or other response measures. Like your overall sale can be dependent on the availability of the product in the neighborhood shop. It can be dependent on whether there is an opportunity for trying the product or not, right. So, in a way your performance metrics are dependent on the intermediary metrics, and that is why intervening metrics are important. Final performance is therefore better understood through a chain of linked metrics. Now let us try to understand what is identity and empirical relationship. In the last class also we defined about identity. the moment when we explained about how sales can be perceived from various perspectives, such as sales can be viewed as a function of number of customers multiplied by average purchase per customers, or sales can also be perceived as number of salespersons multiplied by amount of sale made by an average salesperson. It can also be perceived from a competitive landscape. I mean, the formula can be market share multiplied by overall sale in the entire market, right. So, these are identities. The sales formulas are identities, and empirical relationships are actually estimated and may contain uncertainty. The moment I say that quantity demanded is a function of price set, yes, it is just an estimation, it is not a fixed number. But the moment we look into the identity, sales as a function of number of customers, then it becomes a formula, it remains same. Irrespective of how you are calculating sales, whether you are calculating the sales from customer's perspective or from the sales force perspective, the answer will remain the same. When the answers will remain the same, it is called identity. When the relationships are estimated, then it is called empirical relationship. Examples of identity: sales equal to quantity multiplied by price. This is always true by definition. It helps explain outcomes but does not by itself predict how quantity will change when the price changes, right. So, definition, this particular definition is universal, right. So, but there is no question of estimation, there is no question of uncertainty, there is no scope for error here. This definition will remain constant at any point of time, irrespective of company, irrespective of market conditions. Now, let us look at an example of an empirical relationship. The relationship between price and quantity demanded is empirical, because we are estimating the quantity demanded as a function of price in terms of elasticity of price. Elasticity of price is not fixed, it is just an estimated indicator. It must be estimated from the market evidence. Unlike an identity, it is not automatically true or may vary by the market and as per the context. Like the elasticity of price for various kind of products are various. The elasticity of price is differing as per the geography. The elasticity of price is differing as per the time horizon. For example, elasticity of price in the year 2015 may be totally different from the elasticity of price in the year 2025, right. So, that is why the empirical relationships are estimated relationship which is prone to error and which is always subject to the context. On the other hand, identities remain universal, it does not change with context or it does not change with any other market dynamics. Why this distinction matters? It matters because managers should know which relationship are arithmetic truths and which are estimates. The moment I calculate sales in terms of price and quantity demanded, it is a universal truth. There is nothing if and buts, there is nothing to do with the context, there is nothing to do with the market dynamics, it will always remain true. But in case of estimates, it is always subject to context, it is always subject to the market conditions. This distinctions prevents the confusion in model building. It always improves the interpretation of the results. So, that is why understanding the distinction between the identity and empirical relationship is important for a marketer. Now, let us look into the marketing mix model in practice. These models help evaluate the likely effect of different marketing decisions. Like, if I increase the price, what will happen to my profit? If I intensify my marketing initiative, is it going to increase the market share or quantity demanded? If I make the product more accessible for my target customers, means I intensify my distribution channel, is it going to increase sales of my brand, right? So, or if I try to advance the product, if I try to improve the product quality, in that case is it going to improve my brand presence in the industry? So, all these questions can be answered with these models. So, marketing mix models, they also allow the managers to compare the alternatives before committing the resources. Alternatives mean various combinations of the marketing mix components. Product quality level X, then price determined at A, price set at A, then distribution intensity at, let us say, 95% and promotional activity at, let us say, 70%. So, various combinations of marketing mix can be looked into, can be evaluated, and ultimately you can do a cost benefit analysis of various combinations of the marketing mix models. These models are specially useful when multiple actions influence one outcome. In this case, multiple actions means the change in price, the change in promotional activities, the change in distribution intensity. So, all these together will ultimately impact the outcome variable, which is the overall revenue that is derived from a particular product or product category by a brand. Fine. Now, let us look into the monitoring relationships. These models acts as tools for monitoring how decisions affect the objectives. The moment I increase my marketing budget, is it going to create more awareness or not? We can monitor that phenomenon. The moment I am distributing, I am intensifying my distribution, I am investing a lot of money in my distribution channel, is it going to increase the sales or not? The moment I am decreasing the price, is it impacting on the quantity demanded or not? So, all these questions can be answered by monitoring the relationships, monitoring the decisions taken. It helps firms track whether actions are moving performance in the intended direction or not. You can always see whether the quantity demanded is increasing because of price is being dropped, or it is there is no change because of the price drop. If there is no change, then probably price drop is not a factor of quantity increase in quantity demanded. So, that is why you need to take the decision wisely, so that you can optimize on your objective function, that is the profitability. It supports the better feedback and control. Fine. Now, let us look into the simulated test market idea. This is used to forecast the likely market performance for a new product. So, what is the difference between looking into a new product and into an existing product? So, for an existing product, for an existing industry, you already have a experience, you already have a historical data in place, and you can do a lot of numerical calculations out of the historical evidences. But in case of a new product, you do not have any historical data, and that is why you need to create a simulated environment. You need to simulate the reality in an artificial form in order to predict the market. It shows how metrics can be organized into a practical prediction system. Now, let us look into the forecast unit sales logic. The idea is that final sales can be linked to the sequence of measurable components. Measurable components in terms of awareness, measurable components in terms of interest, measurable components in terms of product evaluation. This reinforces the broader message of the building system of connected metrics. If you look at a metric in isolation, the entire story will not be told. Rather, if you look at the sequence of flow and various intermediate metrics, in that case, it can tell you the entire story. you can understand the causal relationship among various activities and outcome performance. So, that is why it is easier for you to pinpoint the set of activities, you can easily rectify the activities, you can diagnose the activities, which activity is leading to which outcome. So, that is why understanding of the system of metric is very important rather than looking at the isolated matrix. Now, let us ultimately look into why connected metrics are useful. One isolated metric gives limited information. A connected set of metrics helps the manager trace performance more clearly. It can diagnose the causes, it can give you the prescription regarding the future set of actions depending on the past experience or past data. It can also improve both the explanation as well as the predictive power of the model. If you have past information with you, if you know what is the awareness level, if you know what is the accessibility level, if you know what is the brand awareness level, then you can easily predict what can be your market share in the upcoming financial session or financial year. So, that is why to have a holistic understanding about the various actions and the linked outcomes, you need to understand the system of metrics, you need to understand the sequence of events, you need to understand the workflow of the activities and the metrics. Now, let us look at the communicating metrics. Metrics are useful only when they are communicated clearly. Why communication of the metrics are important at different levels, at different hierarchy? Everybody need to understand the importance of the metric. Everybody need to internalize the values that is being derived in the metric. Measurement should lead to understanding, not to confusion. There should not be any ambiguity. It should be clearly defined. The sequence of events should be clearly known to everyone. Good communication makes the metric actionable for the managers. The moment I understand that decreasing the price further is not going to generate additional quantity demanded, the moment I understand the fact, I should stop decreasing the price further. Or the moment I understand that the impact of advertisement, impact of investment in advertisement has a diminishing impact, and I have already reached the saturation. So, that is why I should always minimize the expenditure that is allocated for the advertisement. So, the moment I have an understanding about the system of metrics, then only I can take such a critical decision which will help me optimizing my objective function, which is the profitability of the business. Now, let us look into the managerial takeaway. Marketing mix models extend the system of metrics from description to decision support. It is no more, once you have a holistic understanding about the system of metrics, it is no more just a description. It is no more just describing the business characteristics. Rather, it is prescribing the set of actions that needs to be taken in order to improve the objective function. They help the managers connect the actions, intermediate responses and final performance. How? Expenditure in advertisement is related to more awareness, and how more awareness level is related to more revenue for the organization. So, managers can understand this only when they have a detailed understanding about the system of metrics and how their connections work. This makes the metric system force more relevant for the real managerial decisions. Rather than isolated metrics, a system of metric can always explain the phenomenon better, and you are always entitled or privileged to take a informed decision. So, I would like to conclude this course and this particular session with a statement that a strong marketing metric system not only explains performance but also links the marketing decisions to the objectives they are meant to achieve. So, I hope you have enjoyed this session as well as you have enjoyed this entire course and you derive some knowledge from this course. Thank you, and I hope to see you in some other courses probably in the future. Thank you very much for listening to me.